The USDA Ag Outlook will be unraveled by Jerry Gidel, and he's going to tell you what will happen in the markets right here on Connected Farmer, your channel to keep you up to date with the latest trends in agriculture and livestock. So, Jerry, we have anticipated a lot about this USDA Ag Outlook last week when we told our viewers that the US would grow its soybean surface, but not the corn surface. But yet, we could not anticipate I think the how big will be those changes in the surface?
Yes, yes. Well, uh, their particular numbers that they come up with each year are really economically and econometrically kind of based upon, and that we had some earlier surveys of what people thought they wanted to do based on the prices, and they only anticipated a 2 million decline in corn and maybe 1.5 million in beans. But the uh, baseline numbers from last fall were out, and then interestingly enough, they on the corn side of things, they kept it right at the same 91 million, which would put that down about 3.5 to 3.7 million less on plantings. And to some extent, we really do need some of those significant setbacks in that. I'm not sure we will actually be able to produce the yield that the USDA has plugged in, but that's the trend line yield they've used quite consistently here over the last at least since after the big drought of 2012. And so that being said, when the and on the soybean side of things, they went ahead actually and used a little less on soybean yields at 52 versus some previous estimates a little higher than that on yield. But they increased the plantings up nearly the 4 million up to 3.9. And so I think we definitely need that many acres of beans being planted because of the ongoing demand for renewable diesel in this country. There has been a few nicks in that along the way, but on the expectations for the West Coast. But in general here, the numbers that came out, actually, they were issued the night before, widely available on Thursday of this week, really kind of ding things up for the second day in a row because we did have people moving to the sidelines here ahead of those reports, the release of those data, because the U.S. head chief economist Seth Myers was the one that first talked about them, and then we've had a couple other presentations in the Ag Outlook Forum run by the USDA late this week on Thursday and Friday.
Yes, and well, wheat was kind of the wild card.
Yes, it turns out that the expectations and the numbers here kind of caught some people off guard. We had a very nasty day wheat after we had already broke a little bit on ahead of that thing. Actually took it down significantly below $6, which was not anticipated by my analysis, considering the general price level around the world. And at this point, the Black Sea issues have, they've kind of stagnated. We've got into winter over there, not much going on. We still have all these issues about the Red Sea and that, and not so much specifically towards wheat, but in general, a lot of wheat does move through that particular connection from both Russia and Ukraine. So the wheat side definitely was a little surprising the weight on that. Uh, weather-wise, the U.S. Uh, situation has improved definitely in the Southwest. From there, as to what might be coming out of this U.S. spring wheat, or excuse me, winter wheat numbers, but we've already had 2.2 million less planted acres down in this in that particular commodity, and so that's another feature that's going to limit some of the grain that will be coming out of the U.S. here. I think the a number slightly higher than last year is logical, but the USDA had a production number up over nearly 100 million higher than last year.
So in next week, we'll have a shorter week, but also I think we can count of many geopolitical events impacting the market.
Oh, I think exactly right. We do have a U.S. celebrating our so-called president's holiday for both Lincoln and Washington. And so that is on Monday of this coming week, the 19th. That that shortens the week up, so that does make things interesting on activity. We did have a minor support in beans today, and that because of the fact that the USDA's numbers here on carryover stock uh, and even yesterday weren't beat up, weren't all that dynamically different than expectations, and that the 435 million number is a little higher than I was expecting per se. But it's a number that, and particularly right now, there's still a lot of uncertainty. Part of that came about from the standpoint that the new Brazilian or not, I'm not sure he's new or not. I'll take that back. The U.S. Excuse me, the Brazilian U. Ag Ministry fellow was in Washington to participate in the Ag Outlook meeting, and he said that the current size of the crop is a lot closer to 145 than the 156 that the USDA had. Conab had a number, I think, right down there, just a smidgen under 150. So, to some extent, that 145 is a significant number, but I kind of feel like that, unfortunately, right now, the technicals and other things here really went against us here in the last 2 or 3 weeks. And so the harvest coming on, they just kind of gave up and waited to see if we can get a better understanding of the numbers. I think that's going to start to happen here. I actually think I saw an estimate of Mato Grosso's harvest to be closer to two-thirds done here at this point. That's going to be quite interesting as to that feature because we really have not heard any wildly good yield numbers. Mato Grosso is highly important. It's really the leading producing uh, state down there. Then we have Paranon, which had more moisture this year, but I've heard some disappointing yields starting to show up in that part of the world too. So at this point, what results we start to get from Brazil, Argentina? There was reports, I think, uh, late last week, early this week, about some heat not damaging some 100,000 hectares in Cordoba. In general, here the results we start to get from South America will be highly important at this point. And then, in a standpoint of the other results from other places in the world are important. You're talking about also the political world at this point. The issues here from Putin and taking out his latest arch enemy there, and he had in the prison. I don't know how that's going to play out, but it's just ongoing issues about tensions between countries and things like that. Doesn't always work out positively for agriculture when things are trying to get sorted out here going forward. But right now, we're also had a significant breaks this week, and we've had uh, in general here. Move prices down into some long-term support areas. So we'll see if the world can get some stability in here going into the shorter trading week next week. Otherwise, uh, keep our eyes on the South American situation, what's going on down there, and to some extent the the world tension situations. We've got plenty of them out there to look at. So kind of keep your head up and watch and see what's happening with all the ones that are out there from the Red Sea to the Black Sea to and the Mid East and other points of in between.
We'll keep you posted here.
Sounds great, sir. You have a nice long extra day of partying there in New York.